So it's just after 5:30, on the way home now. Put it together, we rode 16 today, had lunch, did some other chores, but pretty good solid day at the ranch. All right, we're on the way to the ranch. This time of year, I like to start riding as soon as the sun comes up because I want to maximize the amount of time in my day, but I also don't like riding in our smaller indoor arena. So right now, you guys can see it's just starting to creep up a little bit of yellow behind the mountains and whatnot. It's really pretty. 52 out roughly right now. I leave roughly 6:45 a.m. About a 20-minute drive for me, and then we'll be to the ranch. It's always sort of a cool part of the drive. I call this the top of the hill here in Rio Verde. We kind of build up, and then all these ranches are down in this, I mean, I guess you could sort of call it a valley down that all these mountains surround. And it's pretty nice to drive into. If the sun's rising, it's great, but today we're a little bit ahead of that. But all right, so this morning it is like 38, truck said when I got out, which for Arizona is actually really cold. There's this national freeze going on, which has really devastated, you know, some of our fellow reining trainers, horse trainers, I'm sure just general people in North Texas, Southern Oklahoma. Some of those freezes came, and the amount of ice that compiled on top of the buildings caused a bunch of them to collapse. So a lot of people dealing with some serious stuff right now. Arizona is like the most blessed winter weather in the country. So, I mean, it hasn't been getting far below 50. And then right now, you know, we're going through a cold spell in the States, which for us, it's, you know, in the 30s this morning. So dealing with that. So I'm gonna wear my chaps. I've got a vest on as well as a down jacket. You know, I like the, you know, thick cowboy type jackets. I think they look cool, but after you work in these down lightweight ones for training, it's just a different story. Switch to my regular spurs. I'll use these spurs on most of the horses I train, and then I'll also use these here. They're really dull just for the really sensitive horses. And these spurs here, you know, if you use them correctly, they're not that intense either. And it's very rare that I wear sharper spurs. So these spurs are where I spend most of my time in. Yesterday, I had a horse fall down as we were just trotting around and stepped on my leg as he was getting up. So one of my calves is a bit bigger than the other today. That's just sort of, at times, that's just the way that riding works. So you pray that we stay safe. You know, as long as we do a good job, usually we can keep ourselves out of dangerous positions. But sometimes when you're working with horses, it's inevitable that something bad or accidents happen. So this is the first of the day. Tiger. This is a new bridle that I got. It's maker's name is Mayhew, and just got it. It's stainless steel with mounted sterling silver copper bars on the mouthpiece. $2.99 is the model of this mouthpiece, really famous by the bit maker Billy Clapper, so pretty cool. Oh. Oh. All right, so this is one of my 3-year-olds named Cowboy. I like to start every day with my 3-year-olds. Tiger was a 3-year-old as well. I like to start like that because the 3-year-olds in our industry, the reining, the NRHA, they start showing in roughly July or August at the earliest, and the biggest show of the year for us is the NRHA Futurity. That is at the end of November, beginning of December. And so the winner of that show takes home $350,000 for the first place horse, and you're actually able to show 3 different horses. So if you have a good show, I mean, for example, last year the guy who won also got, I believe, 3rd, and he went home with well over $500,000, maybe over 600, I don't know. So, you know, $600,000, that's life-changing stuff. So that's why I start with them, because they are usually the focus of my mind. We will start with the Derby horses, which are horses aged from 4 through 7. Their first show is going to be in March. So you guys will see them as well, but in the morning I ride my 3-year-olds usually. I have about 5 or 6 of them. today I'm going to stop cowboy a little bit. I like to slide my horses roughly 2 days a week and then spin them and work on circles 3 or 4 days a week. It's gonna be cool shit, I promise. Oh. Whoa. That was a good one because look at these tracks here. Both feet on the ground the whole way. No small tracks before it. All the way consistent to the end. Really nice there. Now this is actually a horse that I haven't rode in a couple of months. He showed at the NRHA Futurity that I was telling you guys about. He showed at that at the beginning of December. Now we're at the end of January, so a couple months since he's been rode by me. He's just been getting exercised, and he's one that got 4th place at that show and won $100,000. So that's just an example. Even if you don't win, if you're in the top 5, you're winning 100,000 roughly, at least. And then if you are within the top 10, you're winning more than $25,000. The last time I rode this horse, he marked that 225.5, which is pretty good for our reining standard. That's why he got 4th place. The winner was really good. I think he marked like a 230 or something, which is huge. At the NRHA Futurity, they're oftentimes winning with a score between 225 and 228, maybe 228 being the high side. 230 is huge. So that was big. You know, in another year, maybe this horse would have been in the top couple slots with that score. So I'm super thrilled with him. He's one that I came a long way with. You know, I struggled with him through training a little more and through his early shows, but it was so rewarding because now he became such a, you know, he was so good showing at the Futurity, and I'm hoping now that he's gonna have a fun 4-year-old year also, because it was almost like every single time I showed him, he just kept getting better. Given that it's his first time being rode by me and his first time spinning in 2 months, today I'm just gonna take it slow, show him some of the basics again, and really just get him back fit. Oh. 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 so this is another 3-year-old. This is the last 3-year-old I'm gonna ride for the day. One of my favorites, owned by my fiance Peyton's family. We bred him. His mom, I trained for a lot of her career, I think like 3 years, and she passed away at the beginning of last year, which was a real bummer. She was a great horse, basically part of the family, so we lost her. But she has she's going to have 6 babies total. She has 5 that are already born, and then before she passed away we got 1 embryo, and that is supposed to be born here in not too long. So hopefully that goes well and it's a healthy baby, and then it'll be 6. As of right now we have 5. He's the first one and he's pretty cool. One of this horse's best parts is the stop. He's really good, honestly, at almost most of the reining stuff. He's got a good brain, he's quiet, he's calm, he's a very good loper, but his stop is what I think is going to set him apart. He really makes a powerful move to the ground, and he can just handle a lot of speed. He doesn't lose feet. He's just a really talented slider. Uh-oh. Wow, that's a crazy move. Oh. Oh. That one was good. He could have crushed it just a little bit more, so I'm just gonna do it one more time. I'm gonna remind him up here to stop, and then do it one more time down there. Oh. Oh. See, I just say the word, whoa, and pull my hands and release. Whoa, pull my hands, release. That just puts in their head the idea, okay, I hear that word, next thing that follows it up is the hands telling me to back up. So it connects those 2 cues in his head. Oh, that was nice. Solid move. All right, this is one of my Derby horses. His name is Harry. I just got him. He's actually from Mexico. It's interesting. He grew up in Mexico, was born there, got shown there, won some events there, and we bought him and brought him up to the, well, another trainer brought him up from Mexico to show in the States, and then I bought him from him. So he's been in the States for almost a year, I guess. He came up last summer, and we're gonna see how he fares. He definitely has, you know, the talent and the maneuvers to be a contender in the States. So we'll see if he's what we think he can be. These spins on this horse, I need to get their bodies really nice and straight. This horse especially likes to push his body out in the spin, so I get him really straight, slowly go into the spin, make him sit on his butt, and if he gets forward and fast, I just bring him back and release. And if he gets going too fast, I bring him back and release. There we go. Oh. you're ever riding a horse and they won't stay on the circle like this horse is, put my hands down. When he starts to go to the outside, steer him in. Release, lope the opposite way. Simple as it gets as far as a drill goes, yet extremely effective whether you're riding on the trail, in an arena, whatever you're doing. Just every time they veer off to the right, steer in a little spin, do a couple spins, take back off. That's better. That's good. That's it right there. Oh. 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 All right, so it's now 2:07. I'm gonna go in the barn for the first time since I got out here. So from 7:30, 7:15, something like that, to 2:30, I've been in the arena that entire time. Harry, my last Derby horse of the day. I'm gonna eat some lunch, and then I'm gonna come back to it with some of the 2-year-olds. I'll show you some of them. That's one of my favorite parts of the day. There we go. This here is another one from the Futurity. I showed you guys Queso's, that bay horse, earlier. This is the other one I showed. Her name's Birdie. I think she got like, I don't know what place, like 15th or 16th or something. There's about a little over 2,000, I think, quarter horses registered for the reining every year. So she's basically, 15th out of her class, which is roughly 2,000. All right. Pesto. Pesto. We got 50-50 leftovers today. This is from actually 2 days ago. Love it though. This is some bow tie vodka pasta, barely any left. That's going in. This side is pesto from last night pasta. I'm so freaking skinny that I can't keep weight on enough, so I eat a lot of pasta for lunch just because, I don't know, a lot of calories. I've got a lot of new goals for this year. I want to do a lot more of this stuff where I'm working, to get media out there so that people can see a little bit more of what being a horse trainer in the reining at least is like, my level, as well as just being around horses and just kind of spreading the word and what an amazing lifestyle it could be. I also want to get back in the gym, which is really tough for, you know, horse trainers, because we're gone, you know, come March, we'll be gone 2 weeks out of every month. And you're really tired at horse shows because the hours are even crazier than at home. Like at home, 12-hour days roughly is pretty standard for us. But when you're at shows, it's nonstop. It's way more than 12-hour days. So that's pretty tough. However, it is a goal of mine, at least when I'm home, to get back in the gym a little bit more, because I enjoyed that when I was in high school and whatnot. But first couple of years of me getting out of high school, I've been so busy. I was an assistant for a long time, which assistants work more hands-on hours than the trainers. The trainers have a little more free time, but it's a lot more client work, on the phone, business, stuff like that. But the hands-on work of an assistant is pretty diligent and takes a lot of time. So didn't have a lot of time then. I was really tired. And then last year, you know, getting the business up and running, having some trouble with horses in my string, and losing a couple, and, you know, just really having to work my ass off. Maybe hopefully more than I'll have to at other times. It always gets tough, you know, for us in the fall, from August to, you know, call it November is our hardest part, because there's so many horses showing and so many horse shows we're going to. That's always going to be a hard time of year. But the rest of it, definitely, if you have the right help and once you have your business established, is a little easier than it was last year for me. I don't know how many I ended up doing today, but day's not over. At the end of the day, we'll go look back over how many I rode, then some little random tack and barn tasks, so we'll get to that at the end. All right, let's head over to the 2-year-old area. Right now we're keeping them separate because sometimes the 2-year-olds get sick. You know, it's like new kids at kindergarten. They've all got their little sicknesses and all that crap that they go through. So I like to keep it away from the show horses, at least for a little while. This is the first of the 2-year-olds I ride, Pablo. This one's pretty cool. I went and found him. He was in Tennessee, actually, is where he got bred and raised. I have a sibling to him, and I like that horse quite a bit. So I bought him, Pablo, the full sibling, and so far I like him quite a bit. Obviously nothing is for sure, but so far I'm pretty dang happy with it. All right, that up like that. This is way too long. This needs to be like maybe this long, probably tops. All right, potentially even less. It's cool how some of these reining horses naturally like that on that backup start to put their head down. It's not much work anymore to get them round because they've been bred so round. This is the next one I'm gonna ride. Luckily, I have a really great team of grooms that keep me horseback pretty much all day. They do a good job of keeping an eye on the horses, you know, if they have any fungus, any marks, bruises from the stall, you know, anything like that. They do a really good job of keeping an eye on. That allows me, as you guys can see, to spend practically all day in the saddle, making sure that I'm getting rode and properly trained as many horses as possible. These 2-year-old colts, this one, his name is Bentley, and there's another one that we'll ride named Maybach. Both of them are siblings, actually, to Jay-Z, the 3-year-old bay colt that we rode earlier. They all have the same mom. Her name was Trashy Dreams, so it's kind of cool to see the generations. That's the first one, and then there's 2 little brothers, hopefully following in his footsteps. They're both starting pretty good so far. These 2-year-olds require a lot of patience because, you know, you just want to come out and enjoy riding your horse, but they get spooked, they get silly. You can see this horse is not liking the stuff going on in that indoor, so his head is up and his ears are forward, and I can feel he doesn't want to go there. He wants to spook and jump. So that's where colt starters and people who train unbroke horses have to be really patient and understanding that, once again, these are little kids in kindergarten. They don't have much discipline yet. And then this is crazy. This is selective breeding at its finest. You guys see the equipment that I'm using. It's just a hackamore. He doesn't know what a bit is. He's never had his teeth done by the dentist or anything. And yet this colt on this right lead, having never asked him to put his head down, his head just gets lower and lower as the ride goes, and as he mentally locks in, without me having to put it there one bit. Turn around right here as I bring my hands across. There we go, and he starts to move those feet, cross them over each other. That's the reining spin, when they pivot on the hind end, cross their legs over each other in the front end. Another one of J-Lo's, that Trashy Dreams mare's babies. This is Maybach. Maybach looks like this. Bentley's the one with more white around his face and lighter hair. Both beautiful colts. Both colts that, based off first impressions, I think are going to be really good and nice reining horses. Horses that can, you know, win in the show pen, if I'm not mistaken. So, pretty excited. I like to, on these 2-year-olds, it's fun. I mean, it's hard because a lot of times I'm pinched on time trying to ride as many as I can, but today I've got a little bit of extra time and I can kind of trail ride around, which is great for their brains. It's good for everything. Let's see if I can get over this ridge here that he's not enjoying. I'm gonna get over this by I'm gonna put pressure on side to side here along this line that he's bothered by, release when he gets up to it. All right. Anyways, I like to trail ride him around a little bit because, you know, early on, it's funny, in the reining, if they can do the maneuvers, if they're talented, they're gonna do them. You do not need to have the perfect start. It's interesting. There's a lot of horses that I've been around that have not had the perfect start, that catch right up the moment that they get in the program that fits them best. And then there's been a lot that have had the perfect setup, perfect foundation, raised right, put in a high-level program from the very beginning, and they just never showed up to the plate. So it's interesting how sometimes those ones that are meant to be show up as long as they get a chance. You know, there's so many times I've actually said that I would want to just take for, you know, a couple weeks or a break or something and just go and lead, you know, trail rides up in the Colorado mountains or something like that. I think that that would just be a complete blast to be able to just go out there and ride and enjoy some nature with horses, not worrying about money, not worrying about training, not worrying about maneuvers. Just enjoy riding those horses. This here for the ranch is where those alfalfa cubes is their main meal. The horses, that grass hay is their lunch. This is where the shavings get stored that go in the stalls. This tractor and drag is what keeps the ground groomed for riding. And then this water truck right here in Arizona keeps the ground wet enough to where it's not super dusty all the time for us and the horses. There's a wash back here. I'm gonna try to get around this big water tank and get over to this wash and walk him up the wash and all the way around back kind of towards our barn. See, this is a brave trail horse to walk right up past there. Check all this out. I'm gonna ask him to go this way. Very good. Go up through here. It's a little bit steep. Might be best to go this way over here and then wind down into that wash. I'm gonna let him take a loop here. Send him right down here for this gap. Close. He's gonna take a sniff. We're gonna retreat. I'm gonna roll him back against this water tank. Send him right up through here. There we go. We're close. He's inspecting, sniffing the dirt. There we go. There we go. I love that feeling of them going down a ledge like that. What a blast. A little bit of obstacles here. I'm gonna follow this wash all the way up there. I love this too. One day I hope that whatever ranch I end up at, you know, long term, has some sort of riding you can do like this on the 2-year-olds. You can see he's getting a little upset right there about those machines. So I'm just gonna take him back, let him inspect them. I'm gonna make another pass. Just let him walk right past him. There we go. It's more comfortable that time. Roll back to the fence and walk back up through. There we go. But anyways, I really hope that one day, whatever ranch I have has some sort of options to ride around like this, because it's just so refreshing. I don't know whose junkyard this is, but our neighbor's got a little bit of stuff going around. We're not much to talk though. Here, a little bit of water, let him inspect, walk up the top. We're gonna step over a branch here. Very good. Let's continue up this wash. This is actually where we were a few minutes ago. This is up by the shavings dump and also the raw wood chips that go in the marmotel pens. Now he's really gotten comfortable. One day we'll have to go out into the national forest. You can do some trail riding before it gets too hot. It's beautiful and it's a blast out there. Maybe to do something like that on the weekends and whatnot. It's a good time. This is where back in the day this ranch used to house a cow horse trainer, and these were the cattle pens. They used to live up in here, and then there's these round pens. Well, there's an arena which is behind the pens, then there's the round pen, which is those wooden boards back over there. That's where the cow horse training used to get done. Duck this tree. All right. Now this is where the wash begins. Then it runs all the way down through there. Now we walk up through here. This is pretty cool. I love how smart he is about the stuff that worries him. Instead of, you know, running and jumping and stuff like that, his ears are forward. He breathes a little deeper. He absorbs the information. and he just handles on like a seasoned pro. He never wants to trot or anything stupid. He just stays at the walk and just powers on. It's pretty fun. Now I'm coming back out the side of this run, I guess you could call it, or kind of like a lane for cattle. I'm assuming that they would have run them at some point up through there. And then this is that arena I was telling you guys about. This is a roping chute right here. So you can tell they also used to rope in here as well as doing the cow horse stuff in there. And then these are where our fillies, our 2-year-old fillies, are living right now. And this right here is where all the 2-year-old colts live. Most of them are all stallions. And then slowly some of them will turn into geldings as the ones expose themselves who are a little bit, you know, too studdy to keep their testicles to get trained. So, you know, it's always fun to hope you get a stallion one day and something like that, but more importantly, it's making a horse that is fit to ride and good to be around. Sometimes I think people get distracted by the thought of having a stallion when really they don't all need to be stallions. I've ridden a lot of wonderful, wonderful geldings. Now we're back where we started. Good boy, Maybach. Last thing, just usually do some random chores and whatever, anything that needs done at the ranch. As far as equipment, everything like that goes, I try to get done. My dad is gonna help me with this bridle bit. I need another one of these, and I have a couple extras of this one with the ball, and so I'm just gonna grind this off, cut it off, grind it smooth, and then it's basically the same bit. Because this one here is a little bit less pressure. This ball touches the roof of their mouth, and it's for a horse that's a little bit stiffer, you could say. So I'm gonna take this ball off. It's gonna become a softer bit, which I use a little bit more often. That smells so bad. Just a brief, some B-roll. All right, so wrapped up the day, heading home now. It's like 5:30. I ended up riding 15 today when I went in and counted it, you know, which is good. Average, you know, 30 or 40 minutes per ride on those horses. So that was really good. Start with the Derby and Futurity horses, had lunch, went to the 2-year-olds, and then handled, you know, just barn tasks. Today I didn't get too many thrown at me. Sometimes it's a lot more stuff, but today it was just little stuff like tack, and then putting together like the trailer battery charger, you know, stuff like that. So it was really good, and I look forward to taking you guys along for another one.